Welcome to Fit to Be Fabulous. I'm Brenda Von Rautenkrantz, your host. Today we're excited to do a show out here in Reisterstown, Maryland at the Maryland Library Education Center. We can't wait for you to see that we're going to be sharing some of the greatest books in Maryland about horses. Today our guest is our very own Cricket Goodall, who's going to be sharing a little bit about what Maryland offers. Come on inside. Well, I'm so excited today to have on the show Cricket Goodall, the Executive Director of the Maryland Horse Library Education Center. That's a big one, right, Cricket?
It is.
I love it. Well, I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having Fit to Be Fabulous to share what we have here. The reason I wanted to be a little bit out here in Reisterstown to share, because people really don't know a lot that it's here. Am I right?
Probably. I mean, we opened in December of 22, so we haven't really been open that long.
Right.
We are in the middle of beautiful horse country in northern Baltimore County in historic Reisterstown, but this place, this entity, the Maryland Horse Library and Education Center, is relatively new.
It's new, and I'm so excited about it. I mean, when we pan all these books, you know it all has this great history, doesn't it?
Yeah, we have 5,000 volumes here, all kinds of horse stuff, not just a particular breed. We publish a magazine that focuses on thoroughbred racing, but the library is all about all kinds of horses, and we want every horse person or if somebody's interested to come here and learn more.
So, I mean, it has to kind of start with some horse people. So you're a horse person, is that?
I am.
Correct?
Just
okay.
like every little girl goes through a phase. You know, I started riding when I was 10.
What was the name of your horse?
I started out with Frosty.
Oh, I think I had a Frosty.
But I had others after that, and I ended up showing horses and actually into my teens working on farms and at the racetrack and sort of doing everything I could with horses. But ultimately I realized that the career opportunities doing that, I was not going to own my own farm and produce horses or something. I needed to have a more stable future. So I went to work for the Maryland Million and the Maryland Horse Breeders Association, which are
Whoa. So
we do
explain
here.
for our audience, what's the Maryland Million?
Maryland Million Day is Jim McKay Maryland Million Day is its official name. It's a day of racing in October. It's the fall event at Laurel, and it focuses all on Maryland sired horses that were conceived in our state. It's modeled on something called the Breeders' Cup, which is the national day of racing. And Jim McKay wanted Maryland to have its day. So in 1986, there was the first running at Laurel, and we're still going strong.
Was he was a horse person?
Oh my gosh, he loved horses. He has a farm, or had a farm, he's gone now, but had a farm in Moncton, and he had some racehorses. And if you noticed, if you go back and watch any of his sports commentary, he always managed to bring Maryland up. If he was at the Derby, he'd mention something about Maryland, or Wide World of Sports. He was just a really great guy, and he loved Maryland, and he loved the horse industry here.
So when you got into the Maryland Million, when you talk about the Horse Breeders Association, what does the horse breeders have to do with
So the Maryland Horse Breeders Association is a trade association that represents thoroughbred horse breeders, so people that are breeding thoroughbred horses to race in Maryland. Mm-hmm. So that is a big part of what we do, and we publish a magazine, as I said, and we encourage people to do their business, because it is a business, breeding horses. You need horses to race.
Right.
And so that actually owns the building that we're in, and the Maryland Horse Foundation rents the space for the Library and Education Center.
Okay, so they were a part of all this.
Absolutely.
And the money was raised by the foundation.
Absolutely,
to do this.
Exactly.
So this, I mean, we shouldn't have talked before, but it is a beautiful building and so much heritage here with all these books. But it had to have been a hard thing to build and get money for something like this. Was it a challenge?
Yeah, raising money is a challenge for anything. We had long wanted the Horse Breeders Association to have a building with offices. We were always rented, which didn't seem appropriate, not near horse country, not near beautiful. So we've been looking for a while, and we found this space in Reisterstown, which is just, as I said, right up the hill from iconic Sagamore Farm. And it was available. It was empty, and we needed to buy it and renovate it as a library and education center. And when we started raising money a lot of the people whose families had initially started the Maryland Horse Breeders Association in 1929 loved it because it could be a repository for their family's histories, their books and remembrance, and it's amazing how many people love libraries.
I know. You would think libraries are going out, right? But they're not. People still want to go and see the books and feel them. There's something about that, right?
That's exactly what people said to me. Well, who needs a library? But then most of the people who donated money loved the idea of a library. And exactly right, touch it, feel it. It's the same thing with a magazine. You know, digital magazines, everybody said they were going to be the whole future. Well, we publish a print magazine every month, so people want to hold it.
People still want to do that. So in the books that are here, to say it again, how many books are in this building?
We have 5,000 in this building, and we have, you know, some duplicates. So actually, we're having a book sale right before Preakness.
Okay.
If people are going to be seeing this before that week, Tuesday or Wednesday and Thursday before the Preakness. So.
Okay. So people who come here, when we talked a little bit about the foundation, now do you have parties here? What do you do in here?
So we do parties sometimes. We have a fundraiser, an annual fundraiser here. But mostly we set it up to have monthly talks, and it could be on any topic. We've had a sporting artist actually talk about his painting, do a painting in an hour and talk to people about it. We've had the most recent one was a land preservation group called the Valleys Planning Council, which managed to conserve all the valleys here in northern Baltimore County and was way ahead of its time. So we have topics that are interesting to the general public, the locals, the people who have horses or not. Our goal is to have people stop in who know nothing or know a lot and want to learn more. The library is a reference library, so you need to come in. I tell people you got to spend some time with us, but they can come to a talk or they can come get a book off the shelf and go take it in our research room and read it, or on our nice, comfortable chairs up in our loft.
I know. We took a picture of this up here, and we'll show it in a minute. But it's kind of nice. It's a nice little area that even kids.
Oh, they love it.
They love to go up there, don't they?
Yeah. We have a game table up there, and we have beanbag chairs, and it just is a huge asset because we want people to spend time with us if they can.
So. The mission of the foundation is what? What's their mission then?
It's basically to nurture the past and celebrate the past and nurture the future of the horse industry, not just racing, but everything. The horse industry in Maryland is a $2 billion industry. That means show horses, you know, pleasure horses, trail riding. So that's what we want to celebrate. You need horses, as you probably know. Everybody loves horses. So. And it's a very, very important industry in Maryland, and we want to make sure that it's represented well and we can keep growing fans. We need to, like a little girl like me, if I didn't know anything, I would have loved to come here and pick a book off the shelf and read about King of the Wind or Black Beauty or whatever.
So, okay, so we're educating people, we get them to come out here a little bit. Do you have, like, our farm is on the Horse Discovery Board. We did that.
Nice.
We came out here, and you had everybody here. 50 people came in this room, and it just educated. That's how I learned about it. I'm like, everybody needs to know a little bit more about it. But so the groups, can anybody just come, or how does that work?
So we offer the meeting areas for free to ag groups, education groups, or equine groups, and within reason, other chambers of commerce have been here and that sort of thing. We want people to know where we are because we have a building, so we want people to come here. So we offer it for meetings to a wide range of people because there's no sense in having a building that nobody comes to. And like you came with the Horse Discovery Center group, which that's a great, we were happy to support that because that's the way you're introducing the horse industry to people.
Right.
But a Chamber of Commerce, if they come in and 2 or 3 of their people say, oh my gosh, this is great, I want to do more here, I want to have another event here, that's fine. We're not charging for events right now. I don't know that that'll change because we're new and we want people to know about us.
Yes, exactly. But it'll get big one day, right? We're hoping, right?
Yeah, I think that we want to be a resource and we want to be a repository for history. The Maryland Horse Breeders was started, as I said, in 1929. It's the oldest thoroughbred breed association in the country. The magazine that we produce was started in 1936. The Maryland Million was started in 1986. So we have a lot of history that's important to make sure we maintain and nurture, but yet update it with our studio to record oral histories and to entice a younger generation, a younger demographic.
Okay, well, Cricket, tell me a little bit about the room that is over to the right here, and you call it the media room. Tell me about it.
We put that in the Manfuso Media Room because it was on the schedule from the beginning, because we wanted to have a way to entice younger people. A library sometimes seems old. This is a way for us to record oral histories, sort of like a StoryCorps idea.
Mm-hmm.
We've already started some of that where we talk to people who have a long history in the horse industry or not, or trainers, families, and we get them on tape so that eventually we will have archives and people could come in and push a button and hear, King Leatherbury, famous trainer, in his own words, talk about his history. The National Racing Museum in Saratoga has a very high-end idea, but we've offered it again for people to use. We have people come in and do recordings there. We're going to expand our efforts with a podcast and stuff probably too, but we just wanted it to, again, get younger people interested, and they're interested in that kind of media, getting the word out. I love hearing people talk too, for some reason. It's nice to see people talking, but the character in people's voices comes across so well.
And the history behind it when they share the way they experienced it,
and,
right?
Yeah, and we've already unfortunately missed some people that we should have recorded, and they're not here anymore. And so then you really kick yourself. Like,
I know.
They're gone now. I heard them, but I can't tell their stories like they can tell their stories.
Yeah, I love that idea. I think that is just phenomenal of today's time, because people do love to hear. With the audio world, people sometimes want to hear that it's almost like you stopped in time. Like, oh, yeah. Remember that? I just saw a book with Bonnie Roberts. I'm like, oh, it just brings back so many, for horse people, it does bring back a lot of memories.
And there's characters. I mean, there's characters in every business, I guess, but in the horse industry, there's a lot of them, and I don't think you hear, they don't have an outlet for their stories unless they write a book or, there's a TV show about them, but there's a whole lot of people nobody else knows unless you've worked for them or been around them when they had a racehorse or been on the farm.
Or you didn't even know they had a story. Like everybody, most people like you're a horse person, you have a story, because you've been all through that.
And so Maryland Million Day, that's another good thing about that day. It's focused on Maryland, and each race, we have 12 races, and every race has a story, and it's usually a smaller trainer who owned the mare and foaled the foal and, raised it till it got there. There's just, and you have 12 really great stories. Yeah. The other big races you hear from maybe the big guys, but the little guys who are just as important, you don't get to hear from.
Exactly. Yeah, it's astounding. Let me ask you something a little bit about the Maryland Horse Park. So the Maryland Horse, what's the connection between the Maryland Library and the Horse Park? Where is the Horse Park?
Well, we need to do a better job of marketing, and we're going to work on that. But the state of Maryland a few years ago, instead of building one spot for a horse park, the Horse Industry Board advocated for maybe using spots that were already here, beautiful places that were dedicated to horses already. So one of them is Fair Hill Training Center. It's actually across the road from the training center, but Fair Hill Equestrian Center, where the 5-star event now is, that is the horse park outdoor event site. And that's in Cecil County. And then the indoor site is the Prince George's Equestrian Center in Upper Marlboro, where they have a big indoor arena and they have lots of horse shows. And so that's the indoor section of the horse park. And then we were, once we built this, we advocated that we could become the visitor center educational component. So there's 3 components. You've got indoor facility, outdoor facility, and an educational visitor center component.
Would be here.
So we are officially, those are the official 3 sites. There's sort of associate sites because there's lots of farms that have historic properties, but the horse park is more official, and we are going to start marketing more. There was not a lot of money to get the word out, but that's in the works with the Horse Industry Board, Ross Petticord and the Horse Industry Board, MDA.
So but I think when the Horse Discovery Group came out here, there was 45,
Yeah.
50 people
Yeah.
who took that back to say, hey, after that, did people come and bring their group in a way? Did you hear anything? Because it sold me.
Yeah, we probably have. I can't think of a particular group that came from
Okay.
that, but we have had pony clubs and, various groups. The horse discovery centers, as I said earlier, are just a brilliant idea, and I'm not sure anybody other than Maryland does that. But it gives the farms a chance to shine, but it also helps promote new people in to get them
Exactly.
interested in horses.
Exactly.
And getting onto a farm, that sometimes is the hardest part. People who are interested, but they don't want to just drive onto somebody's farm and pat a horse.
Right, right.
So
But having the horse discovery is a great way to just lead people. Or, I think we talked about this earlier, one of the biggest industry now is a lot of people who had ponies and did ride, they're going back.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I hear too.
Big
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah, they rode as a younger person and then had a family, and now they're getting back into it even with a group of their friends. And
Yes.
that's great. I mean, you've probably heard this, but during COVID, the riding stables and maybe the horse discovery
Yeah.
centers too had a big uptick in business because you could get outside
Yes.
and self-distance. You could either ride or you could, you weren't in
Exactly.
an enclosed space. So trail riding and riding establishments had a lot of people who looked into it then, and some have stayed,
Yeah.
even though COVID is no more.
And it's interesting, you're right, I did know that, but the way the barns are now, they're flourishing
Yeah.
more than I have ever seen. I mean,
Yeah.
people call all the time, hey, do you know, I do different equine assisted psychotherapy, so mine's a little different. But they go, do you know anybody? And I got all the context of all the horse discovery, how they will help each other. It's not taking business away from you, help each other.
No, because people do different things like you do. I mean,
Right.
and it's a good network, and you also know you're getting a good experience, because what you don't want to have is have somebody go onto a farm and have a bad with somebody who.
Exactly.
The horse discovery centers have a responsibility to be a part of the horse industry board and make sure that they're representing what they do and the industry well. And I think that's critical because, somebody's looking at what they're doing and making sure
It's safe.
it's safe.
It's
yeah.
safe.
Yeah.
I'm sure you hear this all the time if people come in here, and that's the first thing they'll say. Yeah, when I was on a horse, they tell you their horse accident, right? They're always going to give that horse. So, I mean, I'm sure you hear the accidents all the time when you come in here. Yeah, I was on one time, right? Am I right?
Yeah, some people have that, and some people are like, well, it wasn't that bad. I went back, So you hope that they, proverbially get back on the horse. But people can have bad experiences, especially, I don't know, depending maybe on when you start riding. I started as a little girl, and I did fall off a lot, and I went through all that, but I didn't stop my enthusiasm.
Yeah,
Let's put it that way.
Exactly, that passion.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit, how does it function? Now, can someone come in here and take these books out? Tell me about the function.
So the function is not yet. We're a reference library only because we don't have the security necessary or staffing, to be honest with you, to be a checkout library. But we do have places where they can sit and research. So if somebody's looking for particular information, we have people here who can help them with that. If they want to come in and take a book and sit down, or we've also offered to homeschooling mothers, just bring their kids in and
Nice.
spend a couple hours with us doing that. So to the best of our ability, we want people to come in and spend time. That's why we do the talks and do other things to get people to be here for an hour or two.
Yeah.
And they may come back or bring a friend and find some books. Oftentimes they just get a book off the shelf and go sit on. We have benches in the library or the comfortable chairs.
You have a beautiful sitting area up there for kids.
So it's, that's part of the goal of having people come out to the building. You have a building.
Yeah.
We want people here. How do we do that?
For the average people that come, do they get disappointed that they can't take the books? Or do they know already?
I have not had anybody get really disappointed. I mean, I think that we have books for sale too, duplicate books. So they can go home with a book if they find something they love, and maybe we have it in a duplicate that they could take it home. But I've not had anybody really complain.
Not like me going, I want that book. No kidding.
We try to tell them, and then oftentimes if they ask, we can see if we do have it in a duplicate form.
So who donated all these books?
Well, you'd be amazed how many people, once you say you're doing a library, have books that they have, especially horse people that love their books, and their kids may not want them, or so we had lots of people calling us wanting to donate books, which we took for many years. We had them in mini storage for a few years, and we got a big selection from the Prince George's Library when they had a horse room called the Salima Room, and they wanted to refurbish. So we took those books and put them in mini storage for a couple of years because they were great books.
Yeah.
And then we've had a couple of big donors who we got pallets of books and really important, good books.
Yeah, you have some great history.
But now we say we'll take them, but could you give us an inventory because we have duplicates already. So we want a little bit of background before they bring us boxes of books.
Yeah.
Because we don't really want to be in the business of storing books for too long. I mean, we'll probably always have a mini storage of duplicate books, but people, a lot of it is their families don't want them, and they want them to know that they're going someplace where they'll be appreciated.
I'm not there yet. My husband says, don't you want to donate our books? I'm like, no, I want my books.
And there's people like that too.
I know.
I mean, there's still people who come in and they say, well, I'm not quite ready, but.
But it's interesting because you have so many different avenues here. Polo, you have breeding, it
confirmation,
confirmation,
riding tips.
Oh my gosh.
Bits and saddles and all kinds of.
Oh my gosh.
Just anything you want.
But I think people who have horses want knowledge too because they're working with an animal and they want that knowledge. So I think they seek that. I think that's why you have a library.
Well, and I've learned a lot. I don't know anything about Arabian horses. I mean, I know a little bit, but not much. And I had a friend sort of, but she came to visit me and pulled out a book off the shelf it was a very historic Arabian book. And she went on for, I don't know, half an hour teaching me all about sort of old-time Arabians, which were slightly different than the way they look for now. But so I'm learning things too, and it's interesting to me because
do people think that you know it all? I would think so.
They think that probably we know where every single item that they're looking for is. We have our library manager, I should say, a research specialist is Cindy Dubler, and she's sort of spearheaded all of the organization part, and she writes for our magazine, and she's a fund of knowledge. So if I can't answer it, which may be possible, Cindy can do that.
Can find it.
We had a wonderful librarian who had retired from Enoch Pratt named Wes Wilson, who came and really did help us put the whole system together, the cataloging system and all that. So we've been really fortunate with volunteers who appreciate libraries and people who could help us do it right, not just.
So it's going to say that I'm pretty old. Do you have a card catalog?
No, it's actually all going to be online.
It's all online.
It's getting.
So can people go online? Oh, so if you were doing something, you can go online and find it.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, it'll be on our website, or I'll get the information to you because we're still in the process of doing that. But ultimately, they'll be able to look online and call us, and maybe we also coordinate with a National Sporting Library in Middleburg, Virginia. So if we don't have the book, there may be a way that they could contact them. They also are a reference library, but we're trying to, and Keeneland Library is a very good resource in Kentucky.
Yeah.
So those are sort of the three niche horse-related. The Keeneland is thoroughbred horse-related. Sporting Library in Middleburg is all kinds of sports,
Fox hunting.
Yeah.
But do they, so that's not competition for you, right?
No, it's actually important to be a part of that niche where people are looking and that we each help each other. And no, it's absolutely not, because Keeneland I think it's a world-renowned library, and Middleburg is pretty important too from a horse or sports-related standpoint. So no, we want to be, if we're mentioned in the same breath, we're happy about that.
I love that. Well, that's a good statement. I love that. So why is the horse industry and education, why is it so important? Why do you think it's important?
I think it's important because it's important to Maryland, and I don't think a lot of people know that. I mean, I'm old, but when I was growing up, horses, crabs, and the Orioles were mentioned in the same breath because of the Preakness, and now it's more crabs and the Orioles and the Ravens. The horse. Yeah. So I don't want people to forget that, and I want them to understand when they drive through beautiful parts of every county, that a lot of it is because of horse farms, because people want to have space for their horses. So unlike other farms, horse farms are just beautiful most of the time, even if it's a couple of acres and horses.
Oh yeah, I think so too.
That, and I think that we need to grow fans. We need to have people who appreciate it going into the future, and that's why we want to focus on children and understanding history, but also looking to next steps and how can they be a part of it? Can they ride, or can they eventually own a horse when they have, they're settled, or whatever it is that is important to them.
Yeah. When you think of just the library and what you have here, how can people get involved, or if they had a lot of money sitting by, they don't know what to do with, what are some things people could do to encourage the awareness of? What could they do?
Well, I think you need to appeal to a lot of different activities. So if somebody wants to ride, they should research carefully the farms that they would go to in their area. There's, as I said, in every county and even the city, there's a horse activity of some sort. But you need to go probably to the Horse Industry Board or online and find the ones that are being monitored, and because you don't want to have a bad experience. And the same way with investing in horses. It's a costly sport, so you don't want to go out there without some guidance.
Okay.
And make sure that your advisors are well established, and that they will answer your questions, because it's, you don't want somebody to lose a lot of money,
Rip you off and think you...
And and with the horse industry, thoroughbred racing industry, a lot of more are coming into partnerships, because people don't have a huge amount of money to spend on their own, so they could buy a little part of a horse for $500 or $2,000 or whatever it is, and then still be a part of the racing and the excitement.
Yeah.
But they don't have to risk a huge investment. And then if they ultimately have the money and they want to move on, that's fine. But I think people need to be careful and just get good advice.
Get good advice.
For any kind of horse activity, really.
Yeah, and two, what I love that you're doing here is the awareness. But if somebody wanted to contact you, or here at the Maryland Library and Education Center, what could they do? What are something that you have a website? What do you have?
So yeah, it's under the Maryland Horse Foundation. I'm sorry, we have marylandhorse.com is the website, and it's the horse sticker that you see on lots of cars.
Yeah.
We've given away probably 200,000 of those.
Okay.
In competition with the crab. But so marylandhorse.com is the website that the foundation and the library information is under. We have other websites for the Maryland horse breeders, and Maryland Thoroughbred is sort of focused on the horse breeders, and Maryland Million and that sort of thing. But marylandhorse.com is sort of an all-around good place to go, lots of resources, and that's where the library connection will eventually be too.
Okay, that'd be great. That's good information. But I'm so excited that I got to come here today and interview you. You're a wealth of information. People should just come, Cricket. But I be honored that we were here today to be sharing
thank you.
this.
I'm so happy you came to the Horse Discovery Center meeting.
I know. I would never have known about it. I was blown away.
Yeah.
And not only that, it was very welcoming. Your staff was very welcoming. Everybody made us feel so good.
We need to get the word out, so we
got to get the
appreciate
word out.
all of that.
Well, we're going to do that.
Today.
Oh, well, thank you for having us today. And we're going to go around and look at some books, if you don't mind, and do some work with, I don't know, maybe I need a new horse. No, we have 7.
Now's the time.
I think I have enough. But thank you for having us today.
Thank
here.
you. We appreciate your visit.
Well, maybe we'll see you at the, which one? The Million first, the Preakness? I don't know. It's
Come
be
out to
something
the Maryland
coming up.
Million. It's a really fun day. So October 12th at Laurel. It's a little low key, not as fancy as Preakness, but a good time celebrating Maryland and Maryland horses. So we'd love to have anybody that wants to come.
I love it. Maybe we should find some pictures here about that. So.
Yeah, we can do that.
Well, thank you for having us.
Thank you.
All right, we'll see you next time on Fit to be Fabulous. I'm Brenda Von Rautenkrantz. If you have an idea about a show, you can contact me at brendavonr@gmail.com. We will see you next time. Bye-bye.